wife, the medical doctor, first, in light of, give us your perspective, and then I want to get the general's perspective, on the mass eugenics plan. We have right of self-defense. This is a government-level PhD textbook for government leaders, for policy. I've now read over 400 pages of the 1100. Total nightmare. Doctor, this is exactly what you've been saying for decades. Break down what this new development means. Then we'll get the general's take, and then we'll expand out into what this flu vaccination means.
I'm happy to do that, Alex, and I want you to know that both the general and I are happy and privileged to have the opportunity to talk to you and your listeners about this. This is a critical time, and the first thing I want to do is start at the very end. The very end is, unless you, listeners, take action now, you will be faced with involuntary detention or mandatory vaccination with an attenuated live virus vaccine containing deadly adjuvants, the same things that caused Gulf War syndrome in 700,000 soldiers. And you will have no recourse, no legal recourse, and you will have no financial recourse because vaccine makers are protected by the Fraud and Death Administration and by the spineless, worthless Congress of the United States. And if you'd like later, Alex, I'll tell you how I feel about the Congress. Anyway, the point is that you have a moment now. If you go to our website, which is healthfreedomusa.org, healthfreedomusa.org, and you click on the top action item under Act Now, you will be telling Congress, your state legislators, the head of Health and Human Services, the health of Homeland Security, and the White House that you want the right to refuse vaccines, refuse incarceration, and instead retire to your home for the quarantine period and self-shield. Now, the best friend that Health Freedom has in the United States Congress is willing to take this onto the floor and create a bill and introduce a bill if there is enough support from all of us. So if ever you valued your freedom, if ever you valued your right to make your own health decisions, and if ever you distrusted the government, now is the time. Go to healthfreedomusa.org and click on the top action item, because if you don't, you will be either mandatorily vaccinated or you will be incarcerated. And now to answer your question, Alex, because that's the bottom line, the answer is yes, the vaccine of this against this genetically engineered, weaponized H1N1 virus, which we are now being told, golly gee willikers, this resembles the 1918 swine flu pandemic virus. Well, yes, of course it does, because the genes were introduced intentionally into this new virus when they fizzled after being introduced into the avian flu virus. So now the vaccine will be a deadly, quote, remedy to get rid of a large number of us. And we're going, if we're sheeple, we're going to line up, roll up our sleeves, present our children for vaccination the way 40 million Americans did in 10 weeks during the swine flu debacle in 1976. Only this time they won't stop it after 10 weeks, because the intention, we firmly believe, based on Holder's document and on other information that we've been amassing for years, and we've been talking about, you and the General and I have had the chance to talk about it on this show and on others, and we've been writing about it for years, that you have, this time, the intention is to get rid of us profitably. The amount of money that is being poured into the coffers of the world pharmaceutical companies is absolutely unholy, as is the intent. In fact, today, the World Health Organization yesterday, the World Health Organization put out a press release saying that what we need for this and the coming pandemics, because remember, Alex, this vaccine is not the last pandemic vaccine. It's the first of many, 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 many horrors to come until they've gotten rid of all of us. This is what's needed. We need many new vaccines. We need new patents. We need new drugs. Because
well, if you look how they ramp it up, they admittedly are testing global level 6 with all the major nation states under the direction of the World Health Organization and this global directorate. And so it's kind of like a Jim Jones Kool-Aid drinking drill where they drill following orders and taking the poison. And they admit, well, I mean, you've looked at this, Doctor, and I want to get General Stubblebine's take on it. What is the history of these companies? We know that Baxter, I just put it on screen, London Telegraph, Baxter mixing the live bird flu in 18 countries secretly. Then suddenly they have secret trials lying to homeless, but they won't say it's Baxter that did the trials, and the homeless are dying in mass.
Actually, I believe the trials were done by Novartis, and I believe that they were in conjunction with Sanofi-Aventis, the good people who manufactured an avian flu vaccine, which the United States bought 100 million doses of in their first order, totally untested, untried, but approved by the FDA.
Well, that's the thing. They're on our news here in Austin saying everybody's got to take the shot, get ready. They're on the news saying it will be mandatory coming up in the fall. It will be a pandemic. It will be mass death. And then people are lining up and they're saying, oh, we don't even know if this is the right thing, and just taking the shot. What do we know from past operations, Dr. Labo, and then General Stubblebine, about what they're putting in these vaccines?
Well, they're putting adjuvants. Adjuvants are substances, and the ones that we're most familiar with are the ones based on squalene, which is a fat ordinarily found in the nervous system. Now, when you eat squalene or you rub it on your skin, and it's used in a lot of cosmetics, it doesn't do anything bad to you. But if you inject it, it trains the immune system's white cells to attack it because it's a foreign object in your bloodstream at that point, and the immune system is only doing its job. It turns on the immune system, and the immune system's attack forces can never be turned off again. So they start attacking everything that looks biochemically like squalene.
And then this, according to other doctors we've had on, accelerates the allergies, the sicknesses, the cancers, and then makes your immune system go haywire. I want to talk about that more. We're about to go to break. But General Stubblebine, you were just on 6-7 months ago before this whole flu thing came up, and you guys were talking about when they try to launch a pandemic, don't take the shot. What does this look like to you?
Well, it's very clear. You know, what Dr. Rima and I have been doing, Alex, has been watching very carefully a whole lot of information. And I call them dots. They're tidbits of information, but it's part of the way I have been trained from the intelligence world, or in the intelligence world, of how you put the picture together. And what you do is you take little bits of information. For instance, 11 people died instantaneously in a trial in Poland, and then 22 more died later from the same vaccine that you're about to take. And then you take the information about Baxter, which contaminated the vaccines for 22 different countries or 18 different countries in Europe.